Duckett's 241 helped Notts to huge 618 for 8 declared. Day 1 was a chastening one for Derbyshire. Notts chose to bat first and never looked back. Haseeb, Hameed and Ben Duckett chipping off milestone after milestone to put on a remarkable 439 for the loss of just Ben Slater. And there were more records set to tumble on the second day at the Incora County Ground. It wasn't long before the pair broke a centuries-old club record for the highest second wicket stand. Duckett drove Connors through the covers for 4, and it was now worth 399, overtaking the 398 put on by Arthur Shrewsbury and Billy Gunn against Sussex back in 1890. When Duckett finally fell for a magnificent 241, his stand with Hameed was worth 402, the second highest partnership in the long history of Nottinghamshire County Cricket Club. The visitors tightened their grasp on the match. Clark pushed Notts beyond 450, more by luck than judgment, as his edge streaked away beyond the edge of the slip cordon. But that's about all he could manage. Off stump sent flying by Sam Connors, a more encouraging start for Derbyshire. Lyndon James too couldn't stick with Hameed. He fell with the score 14 away from 500, out-caught behind off the bowling of Scrimshaw. Mullaney was next, only 2 added by the skipper before he was caught on the pull for Scrimshaw's second. Tom Moores was the man to move Notts to 500. Good balance from the keeper shown to cut Aitchison for 4. That's all he mustered though, out 2 balls later, caught behind by Guest. While wickets fell around him, Hameed had already beaten his previous best, up to a maiden 150 on day 1, but he was looking to convert that to his first ever double ton. He would fall 4 runs short. Caught by Cartwright off the bowling of Aitchison, out for a carefully put together 196. Disappointment of course, but his work was done. His side dominant at lunch, the score 523 for 7. Liam Patterson-White and James Pattinson emerged after lunch and set their stall out, dishing out some punishment to the Derbyshire attack as they looked to inflate their total to a potentially match-winning one. Pattinson hooked Aitchison for 4 to bring up the 550, but they weren't done there. His partner at the other end took the long handle to Dahl. The 50 partnership brought up off 53 balls as the ball soared over the ropes for 6. Pattinson got in on the act with a 6 of his own to Dahl. And after facing just 46 balls, Patterson-White heaved McKiernan for a giant maximum over the leg side to bring up his 50 and move Notts onto 600. Another, this time from Pattinson, took the partnership to 100 off just 78. And when their fun was brought to an end when McKiernan bowled Patterson-White for 54, Mullaney decided they had enough, declaring on 618 for 8. While Derbyshire had done what they could early on day 2 with a flurry of wickets, it had been too little, too late. That epic second wicket stand had taken the game away from them already. Duckett's 241 and a new career best of 196 for Hameed, quite sensational knocks. It was a solid start from Derbyshire, at the foothills of a huge climb towards parity, but Rees and Kame pushed the score onto the cusp of 50. They couldn't make it to the mark without damage though. Rees outcaught by Mullaney off the bowling of Luke Fletcher. Notts turned the screw. Kame outcaught by Lyndon James off the bowling of Patterson for 22. Guest and Madsen stuck in there through to tea. A bit of a regroup needed during the break, with the score 79 for 2. It was patient stuff from the pair after tea, watchful in their approach as they inched their way towards 3 figures in the face of some potent bowling by the Notts attack. With 4 from Madsen, the third wicket was worth 50 runs. Plenty more needed, but it was a start. They started to move a bit quicker, both men thinking about 50 soon enough, as the score moved towards 150. Madsen was the first to get there, 50 up off 90 balls when he flicked Patterson off his legs. He'd bring up the 150 as well. Fletcher this time the bowler, a single all they needed. And before the day was done, Guest played his way to a 50, joining Madsen on the half-century with a single off the bowling of Patterson-White. They finished the day on 164 for 2, still 454 behind, but after the early wobble, they'd recovered well. Notts are still in control though. The deficit is huge, and Derbyshire have a long road ahead. First on the agenda will be chipping enough off to avoid the follow-on.